Last of Us 2, and they had promised it since Last of Us 2, that they were going to do a new
Yeah.
version of Factions. And then Last of Us 2 came out and they said, "Hey, sorry, it's not going to be in there. You know, we're working on it. It's going to be huge. It's going to be this whole new thing." And then obviously Sony must have told them, "Hey, we're trying to do this live service push. We need it to have these elements of live service." So then they probably had to either go back to the drawing boards or rework the entire game or work it into the already existing game, which was probably a
And
hassle.
you brought Bungie on board
And
to help guide these types of decisions, right? Because the platform, they help build Xbox Live. They've got all the experience with networks and the success of Destiny, but they're also hurting for player base too, right? With Destiny, are they right now? Are they the hot hand to go
mm-hmm,
with on what makes a great live service supported game? What
uh,
does that mean?
I was about to say now that they're having all that problem
Yeah,
with retention in Destiny, it's kind of like up in the air. Because I want to say it was a year or 2 years ago that they shared some concept art from the
right.
Factions game that they were working on. And then yeah, earlier this year or into last year we heard Bungie saying that the game needs a lot more work. It
Yeah.
needs to almost be reworked. It needs to go way back
And
in
it
the
must have
oven.
just been a ton more
And then
resources
now
than we thought
it's
it was going to be. Because they usually, let's put it out there and see what
yeah.
happens type thing. Because they live service games come and go. I guess they just didn't want to tie one of their top tier franchises to this potential failure.
And is this I mean, Jim Ryan is out
Yeah.
now. He retired. Was the live
His
service
initiative.
thing
Old games
his
were not.
initiative? Because
Did y'all see that
old games
PS5
were
they gifted
not.
him on his way out? It looks like a PS1 color,
Oh
and
my
the
gosh,
buttons look like, oh man.
that I know I saw so many people like, oh yeah, gift the man a PS5 that he will probably never play because he is not a gamer. He's
He's a
said he's not,
businessman.
a gamer. It is a beautiful
Yeah.
piece though. Even the part where the controller plugs into it's got like the little dongle on it from the old PS1 controllers, and it looks
What's funny though
amazing.
with him
But
not
yeah,
being a gamer is like you hear about Hiroshi Yamauchi from Nintendo back in the day, knew nothing about games, but he knew a lot about toys and stuff, and he would like look at a game and be able to gauge whether it was engaging enough for the audience and stuff like that, and never would like pick up the controllers. What I heard. It's interesting how that works, right? But he's just a businessman and been in the PlayStation family for so long.
but yeah, now that he's retired, I mean, we're seeing the industry somewhat turn on the live service games.
Well, we
I
talked
mean,
about there's like two or three
like we
that
just
rose to
said,
the top, and then everybody else is just fighting for scraps, right?
yeah, Destiny's
Yeah.
retention was down. I mean, even the juggernaut that Fortnite was, I mean, they were talking about they lost millions of players, and then they have done a huge push with a bunch more crossovers to try and get people back in, and it seems like their numbers are going up. But how long do you keep
Yeah.
people's attention with that? And that's the biggest thing with these live service games. You not only have to get somebody to play it, you have to keep their attention in your ecosystem on your game 24/7 because there's so many other
I'm trying to
things
see what the
going
top
on.
live service earners are. Best live service game. That's just a Game Awards award. That's nothing. Here are our favorite live service games. That doesn't help. Valorant? Does Valorant make a ton of money? What's that business model?
I
It's
don't
streamed a
know.
lot on Twitch. So
Ads? Ad space on Twitch?
it's similar to like CS:GO. So it's just like police versus terrorist type of thing.
Overwatch 2's on this list. Pokemon Go's on this list. Fortnite's on this list. Being AI is telling me Fortnite, Call of Duty Warzone, Apex Legends. It's writing in real time. I didn't even ask for this. Here's some of the top earning live service games. Fortnite, Call of Duty Warzone. Fortnite is $9 billion in revenue since its release. Warzone is $1 billion in revenue since its release. Apex Legends is also at 1 billion. League of Legends is at 20 billion. And World of Warcraft is at 10 billion since 2004. It's not as great as I thought it was going to be. Thank you, Bing AI. You think it's still listening?
Interesting.
I have to go to microphone services and see what's being used currently. It should just be... All right, it's OBS Studio and Skype. It's not Bing AI. Thank you.
No, he's writing your name on the list. So I don't get this motherfucker.
Boosh is watching on VR for some reason. Really? How's that? How do we look in VR? Can you reach out and touch us? Reach out, touch Brant.
It'll be your
personal
Jesus.
Brant. Oh goodness! All right, next story. This is gonna start. There's where there's smoke, there's fire. There's gonna be more and more of these stories, right? Tom Ivan reports via VideoGamesChronicle.com that something that Jeff Grubb said from Giant Bomb. PS5 Pro could launch in 2024 with Sony's own DLSS solution. It's claimed multiple sources have suggested that Sony is preparing a mid-gen PS5 upgrade. That PS5 Pro leak is almost certainly real based on what I've heard now, and obviously I'm not the only one out there saying that, but I can throw my confirm into the ring for everybody, he said. The system is probably coming out in September 2024, Grubb suggested. The current specs are based on a range of possibilities because they have not actually fully dialed that in. For September? When would they need to do production? Like May? March? I don't know how that supply chain works.
Yeah.
The big thing here, Jeff says, like the big feature that the system will support is Sony's own proprietary DLSS-like solution where they use their own machine learning to improve images so they can run things at a really high resolution and really high frame rate, and they would include their own hardware in the PS5 Pro to do this. This might actually, if this is legit, might actually separate these two machines a little bit more, right? This is where the
it's possible.
This is where the 2x hardware ray tracing acceleration comes into place. They would be able to do even more than just hardware ray tracing, so yeah, it's probably happening. DLSS, which is Deep Learning Super Sampling, is a feature exclusive to NVIDIA graphics cards on PC. It works by using AI to upscale the resolution of games, effectively allowing developers to achieve higher graphical settings and better frame rates on weaker hardware. Reminder, we're also hearing about this on the next Nintendo hardware, potentially. That you're using it because NVIDIA, that thing's an NVIDIA Shield, essentially. It was old when it came out in 2017. In legal documents published this summer, Xbox maker Microsoft said it was expecting Sony to release PS5 Slim and Pro consoles in the near future. PS5 Slim launched in November. Sony is aiming to ship 25 million PS5 consoles during its current fiscal year, ending in March 2024. If achieved, it would beat a 25-year-old console sales record set when the original PlayStation shipped 22.6 million units over a 12-month period. Huh. The original PlayStation, man, it took off, didn't it? 25 years ago? 98? 98 was that strong for the PS1? That's a shit ton of systems. God, just think of that.
And we talked about that last time, I think, because that was like Final Fantasy 7 and a bunch of other stuff around that time.
Metal Gear Solid, Castlevania, everything's just like 20. Man, that's insane. Just thinking about that numbers wise, like over in a year, that original PlayStation outsold double the Wii U lifetime, double the Dreamcast lifetime. They probably beat like N64 lifetime in that same. Not double, but they beat it. And the Super Nintendo, I think both. No, not Super Nintendo. 64 and GameCube were both under 20 million, weren't they? Anyways, moving along. There's going to be more PS5 stuff.
Yeah.
Brant, tell me, why is E3 dead? Who killed it? Was it you?
No, it wasn't me.
Not this time?
Not at all.
It wasn't me.
I remember the days of E3.
We never got to go.
E3.
I think Cesar got closest
to
any of us going. I think COVID year you were set to go.
It was Penny Expo.
You were going to go to that one?
Boston one.
Did they ever do one in Atlanta, or we just have DreamHack as our closest thing?
That DreamHack's coming up pretty soon, I think, if it hasn't already passed.
DreamHack was this weekend.
Yeah.
Or wait.
Yeah.
Anything come from that? We ever get announcements or anything?
Passed.
Or new? No.
Is this watching esports.
I know we
games.
watched some competitive Halo.
Yeah, TNT was playing D&D.
Renee says rig. What's Renee saying rig to?
I don't know.
Renee,
That's not
elaborate. What rig?
that. I think he's.
Is he talking
Rigged.
about
He said
his
rigged.
big rig?
He
or-
elaborated.
I think he's making a.
Oh, rigged.
He's making a joke about the Game Awards where they were saying that it was rigged because Baldur's Gate won everything and Spider-Man didn't win anything. Apparently that was going on in the chat.
Oh, we talked about it last
Probably.
week. It's just an advertisement show. We're there to tune in for Kojima Fest and surprises like the Sam Lake dance number.
But E3, this comes from us.
Renee says
Comes
E3
to
is
us
rigged.
from
Well, it's dead
Gamatsu,
now.
Sal Romano.
Brant's about to tell you it's dead.
Yeah, it's officially dead. After more than 2 decades, E3 is officially dead.
Damn it,
The
Brian, you killed it, you
Electronics
son of a
Entertainment Expo, once held every summer as the game industry's biggest convention, is officially dead. The ESA confirmed. We know the industry players and creators alike have a lot of passion for E3. The Washington Post said, "We share the passion. We know it's difficult to say goodbye to such a beloved event, but it's the right thing to do given the new opportunities our industry has to reach fans
They're talking
and
about streams,
partners." Yeah, a little bit down in this article, they say the decline of E3 started at about 2018 when Sony decided to pull out of E3 and kind of started a domino effect of other exhibitors no longer attending. Along 2020, talking about Jeff Keighley announced that he'd be doing the Summer Games Fest. I mean, honestly, I think it had to do with it became a lot easier and a lot more economical for these different publishers, the different players in the game to
You don't have to fly
do
in
their
all
own
those
thing
elaborate
because-
stage contraptions and get-ups and practice a live
you don't
announcement.
you don't have to ship a bunch of people over there and practice something, worry about the presentation going wrong or somebody showing up hungover or there's so many different things that can happen in those live presentation things. They're like, just hey, we have a controlled environment here, we have sound stages and studios that we do all this. Let's just do it here, film it, and then boom, done, send it out where we need. And it's that simple.
We'll never get our NOFODcast press passes
now
for
you
E3.
don't get that fan interaction. You don't get the energy of the showroom floor and the demos and all that. But I think it's just,
Demos are a thing of the past.
Okay.
Demos are long gone.
It's okay, Brant.
yeah,
It's okay, Brant.
it's a sign of the time. Like I sent Richard an image the other day of David Cross and Bob Odenkirk, two comedians from the Mr. Show who have gone on to do many other things, but are standing there in some room with a Nintendo GameCube display, both getting ready to play Smash Brothers
On a
Melee.
Panasonic Tau CRT.
Yeah,
It's a good set. So that's what were we going to jump in there with?
and
Oh, no, I forgot already.
It would have been fun to go to a show like that, but
um,
they just don't do that kind of stuff anymore. Even Nintendo had distilled their E3 presence down to one big game.
yeah, and then they just started doing the Treehouse events, and they would do basically their own video stream, and then they might have a Treehouse presentation from the E3 floor where they kind of went in depth on a couple of the games they showed, and that was it. It was long gone where
Even those were super produced, though, right?
I think I was about to say I think the 3DS was one of the last ones where they kind of did a big presentation, and then Reggie came out and he was like, "Okay, now you can pull out one of these from under your seat and play on it," or something. They had like demo units that you could pull out and were hooked up, and they could play on them and see that 3D effect,
Right.
and all that. But yeah, between everybody slowly pulling out and then the pandemic, it just was a
And
1-2
then
punch to
it
E3.
turned into this fan event, but it's always like everybody got hyped about it because they would get new screenshots of games, or there'd be video clips, or that led to the rise of game trailers and such. But man, I lost my train of thought on that. I was going somewhere, I promise. Renee says let's host its funeral. Yeah, I totally just blinked. Oh, they stopped, like with the Xbox One, when they stopped reporting the Xbox One sales figures. This used to be a trade show. They would come out there, and Nintendo's like, I just saw a screenshot about the death of E3 where it's Reggie saying, like, we sold 20 million DSs, we sold 10 million Wiis. Like, they did that in that first 6 months or 7 months or whatever it was. And it used to be this trade show of, like, sales figures, and not only here's what's coming, but, like, here's how many other software sales we've had. And now they're just press releases that are standard fare. And we get plenty of video game news. I think we all just are nostalgic for E3, and I also saw it termed, everyone was laser focused on video games for a week. Even like USA Today had video game articles, or the AJC here locally for us. Like, everybody tuned into what was happening there that week. But it's just, I think video games are a lot more mainstream, where maybe that type of distilled experience isn't even needed anymore. Do we have to read the article? I think we're good, right? They broke it off with...
yeah, that was everything.
I want to say Red Ventures, but who was the group that was doing they do PAX also?
Oh gosh, this past year.
Because they backed out of it this past year.
Yeah. Well, they had whatever group trying to actually produce it and put it together, and then it just kind of...
After this news came out, did Keeley do his usual, like, tune into the Summer Games Fest starting June? Did he do that? Did he throw that bit in there?
I don't know. I didn't see anything about that. Or like,
Keeley's picking the
dearest respects to E3. We all enjoyed E3. By the way, Summer's Game Fest is still happening.
He's ever the opportunist, Jeff Keeley.
Yeah.
All right, A24 partners with Kojima Productions for live action Death Stranding movie. This comes from Tom Ivan at VideoGamesChronicle.com. We are creating a Death Stranding universe that has never been seen before, says Hideo Kojima. A24 is the film distribution and production company behind movies like Everything Everywhere All at Once, Talk to Me, Uncut Gems, Midsommar, Lady Bird, and Moonlight. Lady Bird. The film promises to delve into the mysteries surrounding the apocalyptic event called The Death Stranding, which blurred the lines between life and death and brought forth nightmarish creatures into a world on the brink of collapse. It sounds like it's just going to be a movie in that universe, right? Rather than making a big blockbuster movie with famous actors and flashy explosions, Kojima said he was aiming for a more art house approach.
I'm completely off board.
Death Stranding's a hell of an experience, but I don't know how that would
it's
play out in cinematic form, right?
I'm about to say, unless it is like literally a camera crew following around a UPS man who's having to lug like 40 boxes on his back and like stumbling around. It's not a true to form video game or movie adaptation of this video game.
And it seems like that universe would be better fit for a series. Am I right thinking that? Where you get a little bit more time to... So I started thinking about something. You get a lot more time to build character development and make you care about moving the packages from place to place.
Yeah. Walking across those ladders and hugging that little baby. Well, it's warning you about the DTs or whatever.
That was on my games of the year list that year. That was a hell of an experience. I need to go back and give the PS5 one a shot. It plays on Steam Deck too, doesn't it?
It does.
Yeah. And I guess the obvious choice is, do they get Norman Reedus, or do they focus on somebody else in this universe and just kind of make their own
Is he in the new one?
Thing?
Is he in Dual Screen 2?
Yes.
Or Dual Shock 2?
Yes.
Yes.
So far, yes.
Oh yeah, him and Kojima are besties.
I don't see how you don't cast him, right? Unless you're trying to tell another story in that universe. Does it say in here? I've been attracted to their creations, and they've been inspired by my own work. Their innovative approach to storytelling aligns with what Kojima Productions has been doing for the last 8 years. Damn, Death Stranding came out in November 2019. It feels like so long ago.
I mean, Richard without Sam Bridges, who's going to bridge America?
Who else could it be? Could be Steve Highway.
To be there to bridge it.
Or Jane Road. Jane Plain. Renee says he hasn't played Death Stranding. Is it on that PlayStation Plus premium tier? Can't you?
He doesn't have.
Yeah,
he doesn't have any of that stuff.
they have it at the bottom.
My bad.
Kojima Productions said today that the game has been played by 16 million players across all platforms, including subscription services that includes the PlayStation Plus and PC Game Pass.
That's right. Is it still on there? When's the last time y'all checked into PC Game Pass? Cesar, do you have it up for any of your reward ventures?
Yeah, I look at it every fucking day.
Oh, God. Has there been any like big additions to that or anything?
I'm looking at it now.
I feel
tell you. I mean, I don't
feel
see
like we've talked about
anything on here that's exclusive. Yeah. So if I look at all PC games, I think everything on here, the only big things that are probably not on standard Xbox is Age of Empires 2 and 3, because I think 4 is on Xbox.
I want to say 2 is as well. I think I looked at that either today or last night, as a matter of fact.
One of the, I don't know. Some of these Age of Empires, not all of them are on there, depending on what you're looking at.
Renee says, I don't have no game subscription. He wants his MTV.
I'm looking down the rest of this list. I don't see anything that stands out that.
Oh, did y'all see, it's not news, but did y'all see Hogwarts Legacy could be the first non-Call of Duty or Rockstar bestseller in 15 years?
Take that back. You have Fallout 1 and 2, which is
okay, that makes sense. I didn't think they sold that many copies of Hogwarts Legacy. I guess it's been selling a shit ton.
I'm looking. I think that's it. That's all I see. Yeah, that's it. And some Microsoft Solitaire Collection. Can't forget that.
Game of the year that you've been farming out to members of your family.
Yeah, I think it's my most played game.
I love it.
It has like 70 hours on Xbox. Yeah. I think when I did my wrap up, it was on there it was a top.
I meant to send you guys a screenshot. It wasn't 3DS or anything like we always joke about, but somebody's most played. Maybe it was PS5. Somebody's most played thing was settings. It was the settings tab, just like it used to do to us for 3DS.
Yeah.
3DS eShop, most played game eShop.
Yeah.
All right, Cesar, bring us home on the PlayStation Plus game catalog. What are we getting? I thought one of these games was already in there.
Oh, great page photos. Let me hold on. Ooh.
I wonder if they're all. Have you found anything that's not remote play compatible? They almost all say they feature remote play, but I don't think I've ever seen anything say you can't remote play this. It's usually just streaming stuff.
I don't know that I've
everything.
Yeah, I don't know that I've looked.
Everything's remote play compatible, but streaming games.
So I did. It's a little bit of games played maybe, but a friend of the show, Russell, I was showing him the Portal, and he was like, "What does this do?" I guess the Brant argument, the porthole.
The porthole.
I was like, it streams from the PS5, but you have to have it downloaded. He's like, oh, cool. Here's God of War, but it says stream. You can't stream to it. I was like, no, you have to be able to download it. So like all the PS3 library, you can't just stream straight to the Portal. He's like, okay.
You know what you can do? You can remote play God of War from your PS3 to your PSP.
The superior device. The original PSP, not the new PSP.
Or you can just play the God of War HD collection on your PlayStation Vita.
Also true. Man, there's a lot of busted PS3s on that PS3 subreddit. People are all putting their error codes and blinking red lights and everything. Are we getting in that timetable of PS3s dying?
There was a certain individual that I was talking to a couple days ago who said he has a PS3 that is yellow lit, and he was looking to try and get it repaired. I said, "Good luck, buddy. That's a whole fucking process."
Of course he is. Did your page come up, Cesar? You want me to take it?
Oh no, I was waiting.
Let's go. Tell us what we get.
Let's see. So
this is premium and extra, right?
Extra.
This is extra. Read all about it. Here's the extra part.
Extra and premium game catalog. So you have Grand Theft Auto 5 on PS4 and PS5. Final Fantasy Origins Stranger of Paradise on PS4, PS5. MotoGP 23. Damn, there's that many of them. PS4, PS5.
It's just a roster update.
Metal Hellsinger, which I think was on Game Pass.
I heard that was good. That's like the Rhythm Doom shooter.
Yeah, you have to shoot with the rhythm of the music. Salt and Sacrifice on PS4 and PS5. Moon Scars, PS4, PS5. Mega Man 11 on PS4. Giga Bash on PS4, PS5, which I think is described as Power Stone and War Monsters with jaw-dropping scale of the classic kaiju movies, which is interesting. They have me at Power Stone. Grime at PS4 and PS5. Tinykin on PS4, PS5. Proteus on PS4, PS5. They're all on PS4 and PS5. Otherwise, Shadowrun Returns. Yeah. Shadowrun Dragonfall Director's Cut.
Are those any good?
And Shadowrun.
Did anybody try those out?
I mean, these are remakes of the older games that I think they were on console PC. What's funny was that it's not funny, but the studio just lost the license to Shadowrun, so they can't make any more games.
Are these going to be lost?
They were talking about it.
No, they have these.
Yeah. I don't know what's going on with the older games. Obviously, they're still good, but I know they came out on Twitter. It's like, yeah, we can't make any more Shadowrun games.
Anybody interested in game preservation or potentially playing a game in the next 3 or 4 years when they hear license has been removed or expired, you panic.
Yeah.
Start pricing physical discs somewhere.
Brand's favorite part of the show, PlayStation Premiums, Classics Edition.
We're back to a disappointing month. In some aspect, anyway, I guess.
Mega Man Legacy Collection on PS4. Mega Man Legacy Collection 2 on PS4 as well, which encompasses 1 through 10 altogether, I believe. And which you have 11 earlier up there, so you have a way to play all 11 Mega Man games if you wish. Thrillville on PS4 and PS5. I think
the PSP game.
Interesting part was that. So Thrillville Off the Rails, is that the PSP game? No, Thrillville Off the Rails is the PS2 game, which there hasn't been a new PS2 game released on that emulation software in like.
Really?
Years. So this is the one that everybody was like, "Oh, they're doing PS2 games again."
That's potentially exciting news.
This is the one that everybody saw on Twitter. Yeah. Maybe they fixed all the bullshit errors they were getting on some of
Maybe
these
it's
games,
not so much the game that we're getting, but the fact that they're putting one out there.
Yeah, testing the water.
So everybody download Thrillville off the rails is what you're saying? At least put some time into it.
Yeah, so as you said before, Thrillville, the one above that is the PSP version. Buzz Lightyear, I think it's the PS1 version. Yes, originally released on PS1. And
that's it.
Something about PlayStation Plus, Season of Play, yada yada yada.
So that's it. When my premium
and the first comment on there was against what Brant said.
Finally quality. The anti-Brant.
Last month's was awesome. I mean, we had Jet Moto in there. We had Grandia. We had Parappa the Rappa 2, and like a really good sampling. And then this month, it's like I get the Mega Man games, but these are the PS4 versions of the games. They need to, when you say like premium classics, and you showcased and said, look, these are going to be the classic games that are, PS1, PS2, and PSP titles. These are the, you can only play these on this tier, and on this subscription. That's what you're going to get. And then they give us they gave us the Destroy All Humans remasters for PS4, and they've done that several times where it's either the PS4 version of the PS2 games, which still don't run really well.
But as I've learned,
for some reason,
the Portal, you can play those via the Portal, unlike the streaming ones. I'd rather give me one I can download. That way I can stream it.
I was about to say join
Richard, buy it.
The PS3 stuff. If they if they really do get into this PS2 library, because they have such a huge PS2 library that they haven't touched. But they have, if they can work out the issues of that, and they can get native PS3 working, where you can just download it rather than stream it, it's a go.
I think I'm a lifer for that premium service.
They gotta get
if
those
they do that.
things
If it's an ultimate
out.
PlayStation at that point, which they have the ability to do, maybe No Jim Ryan opens that door. I mean, it takes a while for those things to come about, but And on your note about the Mega Man games, remember the PS3 classics? We got the PS1 Mega Man ports. We got those Japanese only ones. Are those still just on PS3? Remember they remade Mega Man 1 through 4, I think, for PS1. And
I'm trying to remember those might be.
And we got them as
trapped on
classics.
PS3.
The same $5.99 SKU for most of the PS1 games, except for like big RPGs and stuff. But those would have been awesome. Bring those back around. You had an agreement with Capcom at some point, and they're still in the PS3 store, to my knowledge. I think those are pretty good remakes. Akin to like Mega Man, Mega Man Powered Up and Mega Man Maverick Hunter X, the PSP ones.
I just, where did I read it from? Did you read that article about how long to beat 2023 in review?
Yeah, where they said the PS3 was like the 5th most played console in the... Yeah.
Like Gansel? Yeah. It was what? PC, I think. PC, Switch, PS4, PS5, PS3, then Xbox One. Then Xbox Series X, and PS2, then 360, then 3D.
But how does that report...
Wow.
So what I was thinking when I read that too... what Cesar's talking about, the website howlongtobeat.com, you can go in there and see like how long to beat BioShock. And then when you're scrolling through that BioShock page, it'll say like 97 people played it on PC, 42 played it on PS3, 6 played it on 360. It'll break it down like 9 played it on Switch. And so they released their end of the year thing, and the PS3 was like above the Series X and the Xbox One. But I wondered about that, Cesar, if somebody's just clicking something. I mean, you're going off of basically survey data. If Brant's playing BioShock and he's reporting it, is he making sure he clicks the Switch version instead of like the PS3 one? But the PS3 was way up there for some reason.
I'll let you play.
No, I'm with you. I think the data is accurate. Yeah,
accurate,
it's just it's certainly a curiosity. Yeah, I saw that on the PS3 subreddit. People were talking about it, and they're like, "I play my PS3 all the time."
I got like 2.
I have one in here, one in there.
Mine.
I have 2 hooked up as well.
I still got one new.
Brent's trying to play Days Gone on his. I thought he froze for a second.
No,
Brant, Blake, if you're still with us, he's playing God of War remote play on PSP. Yeah. All right, that's it for news. We're going into games played. It's gonna be a smorgasbord. We won on Warzone. Was that last night? Yes, we played a good bit of Warzone, but we got off at 12:30. We won at 12:30, and we were like, Boosh says data accuracy is important. Yes, Boosh has taught me to look closer into these things than I previously might have done so. We finally got a win. Actually, Boosh carried us to victory at the end of it. Yep, the 2 kills at the end. I think we all had. It was it the 3 of us and Renee? Was Renee in there with us? So myself, Cesar, friend of the show, Jeremy, friend of the show, Renee. And as it ended up, I think... I did the same Friday night when y'all had a stream. But I think Cesar and I died in the water. Renee and I died in the water, and then Cesar and Jeremy are trying to like come up to this cliff area. I think Cesar got shot in the water. But you could see could see a guy up on the bank. And actually, he was in the water because you could hear we had the prox chat on. He's like, he's in the water, he's in the water. And Jeremy takes out the guy in the water, and he's calling out where he's at. So I think he threw smoke or something like that. And then Jeremy creeps up along the bridge, and the guy is taking a defensive position behind a box and is looking down in the water. So Jeremy was behind him, and by the time he started laying into him, that was it. It was toast. And I was like, I think that's the last guy. Is that the last guy? And then Warzone pops up. I was like, yes. So that was a much needed dub, and we're all watching Buish finish that one out on the stream. That was a lot of fun. Yes.
Doing the Lord's work.
I've played a big.
Thank you, Buish. I didn't have to go to church the next day because I
technically that was Sunday. Renee says me and Buish almost won, so they almost got one too. Yesterday we had like a small Christmas get-together thing of sort, like a small white elephant gift exchange with some siblings, and busted out the N64, and also busted out the RetroTink 2X, which I don't think I've hooked up in quite some time. So we hooked the 64 up to the 100-inch projector, was playing giant N64 games. that look really good. That 2X does a good job, and it was basically lag free. I could not tell the difference. We played Blitz, of course. Cesar and I being on the winning end of the 2 Blitz games that we played. We beat the computer. We beat the computer with the garbage Carolina Panthers. Yes, we won twice with the Panthers. We beat the computer, and then we beat friend of the show Robbie and friend of the show Russell in the next game, which was competitive until probably the last like 2 or 3 minutes. And Robbie, I don't think Robbie had ever played Blitz, so that was a new thing for him. And we had a blast with that. Friend of the show Russell played Army Men for a surprisingly long amount of time. Army Men.
Holy shit,
Army Men 2, Sarge's Heroes for the N64.
Didn't you say that he absolutely
loves the Army Men games? He texted me today. He's like, "What are you guys doing? I want to come play Army Men." I was like, "I guess let's go." Oh, I guess they got roped into grocery shopping or something. Yeah. Bring back Army Men. Give me an Army Men collection. Like, I know you guys get excited about the limited run announcements. If they did an Army Men collection, I would support that for sure. And Tiny Toons. We watched some gameplay of Tiny Toons for the NES.
Oh yeah.
And Cesar was thinking, yeah, I'm pleasantly surprised. Also looked at the Super Nintendo version, which for some reason didn't seem... I mean, it looked better, but it didn't seem to be as quality of a game as that NES one for some reason. What else did we get into? Played some Perfect Dark at 8 seconds per frame. It was pretty rough. But it was playable.
We're all changing characters. It was like, it was like...
Yeah, if 3 people picking a character on Perfect Dark was not wholesome. What is that Disney... It's like Mickey's Magical Bakery or something. It's a Tetris version for N64 with a Mickey license. I want to say it was a Capcom game. It was a Capcom game.
It was Capcom.
It was at Disney something. It was Mickey Tetris Adventure.
Magical Tetris?
That sounds right. And also we played the new Tetris for N64. This is not it. Yeah, that is. Magical Tetris Challenge is a puzzle game by Capcom for N64, Game Boy Color, and PlayStation. The version is played as one of the 4 characters, Mickey Mouse, Minnie Mouse, Donald, or Goofy. And so everybody played different rounds with that. And then we played the new Tetris on N64, which was also a good version of Tetris. Just the music is lacking. You can definitely tell with the cartridge-based titles. The music just recycles over and over. It's not... Yeah. We've been so used to CD-ROMs being the standard since the 64, I guess. Or at least storage space for like 3DS games and stuff. We didn't have the storage issues after that. Was that it? Were the N64 stuff, Cesar? I feel like that's all we went through. It was.
And you try to do dinosaur.
Yeah, I didn't set the RAM. There's a RAM setting you have to do when you load up that Dinosaur Planet leaked build, and if not, the Star Fox character just falls over and over. It's just stuck on loop until you reset it.
Like
it was Ben's Dream copy. We should have played some damn Mario Tennis. That would have been a good time. That's a great 4-player game.
I don't know. Russell kept talking about...
Russell wanted to play Mario Party 2. I'm like, these are all original 64 controllers. We're not destroying these things. It takes too long. We're not doing this. And then I've been watching that Jeff Gerstmann NES series. So I went to the local game store we have and was kind of poking around to see if I could find... let me pull up the 4 that I found. So I've been jotting them down. If I don't have it, I jot it down, and I'd rather... They're still not that expensive on eBay unless I find that random like $300 shooter or something. So I'd rather support the local place and go get them from there. And they usually have whatever I go hunting for. But the Tiny Toons is the one specifically that I was after, and they did not have Tiny Toons. I was like, damn it. But I did pick up today 4 video games of varying quality. I grabbed... I still don't know how to say this one. Astyanax. Look at this one. This was on the Jeff Gerstmann series, and he put it pretty low. But as I was looking at this game, Brant, it reminds me of that. What was that Castlevania-esque game that you played and really enjoyed on PS4? I think it came out on Switch. Infernax. It looks a lot like Infernax, but remember the NES like palettes and sprites and all that? You didn't really have these big characters. It's like that Infernax guy, but it's much larger on the screen. And it looks and plays fantastically. It's difficult, but it's a left to right platformer, and you get power-ups. and I haven't made it very far because it is difficult, but it just looks and jumps and moves like it's a great NES game in my opinion, and I had never heard of this one. Astyanax. Astyanax, maybe? Look at some gameplay. I was extremely impressed, and it was only $10. I also picked up a Trade West game, Trade West and Rare. Solar Jetman from Rare's Jetman games. We have Battletoads, it sucks. We all enjoy Battletoads until a certain level, the third level. In Solar Jetman, you're like a guy in a spacesuit, but you start off in a ship. So if your ship goes down, you're the guy in the spacesuit. And think of like Geometry Wars. So the ship moves around, or like Asteroids. The ship moves around almost like an octopus where you're propelling it in certain directions. And I didn't get very far. I was just kind of making sure the games I purchased worked, essentially. But that one was like $5. These prices are super reasonable at this store. Then the shit. I picked up Stealth by, was it Mirrorsoft, I think? Oh, it sucks. It's pure trash. Pure garbage. It's a horrible, horrible first-person flying game. Imagine an Air Combat or an Ace Combat on NES. It's bad. It's disorientingly bad. The only way you could tell whether you're about to hit the ground is like looking at the altitude meter on the bottom. Like you're like constantly looking for these numbers. I immediately turned it off and took it out. There's $5. I'm not playing this one again. And the other game I got was Infiltrator, which is another first-person flying game where you have a helicopter. And I never got the helicopter to take off from the pad. It would just rumble, like you would see the screen rumbling, and then it would tell me, well, that was a nice landing, and I never did anything. And I did that like 3 times. I was, okay, I'll figure this out later. I'm not playing this game. But those are some random NES games that I picked up. Did we play anything else? Did we get into any PS4 or PS5 stuff? I don't think so. Nope, those are my random games played this week. Played a lot of games. I'm proud of you. Not for a long amount of time, but played a lot of games.
I guess for me, I went ahead and I did finally caught up to Brant after all these months and years and decades of Final Fantasy 16. Also beat the DLC, which was only like 2 or 3 hours, so it wasn't that long. Which goes into details about alternative crystals, so I'll leave it at that. There's different interpretations for the ending, so I see the ending in a different light with that final sub-quest I did with Jill, because there was some stuff that they mentioned in there, and there was some stuff that happened on the ending, and which kind of leaves it open ending. It reminds me of like Cowboy Bebop.
Interesting. Did you like how it wrapped up? But you definitely say it's worth doing those side missions, right? Before going into that one?
I mean, it's too strong.
It will be for me then, and I think both of you guys recommended doing that. Yeah. Because I think I'm close. I think I'm close to getting all those side missions.
Yeah, you're once you get past that final echelon that you're at, it's going to open up to like 4 or 5 hours.
I played a little bit of 16, but it's still very confusing, and the characters are trying to figure out what's happening, so I'm not even going to try to explain what's happening with them.
I'll wait till you're caught up and we can talk about it, since Brian already beat it, and we can actually talk
fun.
about it. So, outside of that, I was off this week. I did tinker with some random bullshit. One of the random bullshits I played was, for whatever reason, I started playing Street Fighter 6, the World Tour mode, which is a single player mode, which you build your character, your avatar, which looks nothing like me. I didn't have
unlike
to make it look like
unlike
me.
Summer Olympic Games.
Outside of say, yeah. You know how some people will sit there for 4 to 5 hours in their character creation model. I just like, I guess.
That's what I do.
It reminds me of like I don't want to insult Yakuza, but it reminds me of like that overworld of Yakuza where you're running around and running into submissions and stuff like that. It's not as deep as Yakuza, but it's reminiscent of it, which I sat there and played 6 hours of it because it's just me going around doing missions and talking to different masters where you meet up with different characters like Chun-Li and the new character Luke and some of the new characters out there which you can use as masters, which you can learn 2 special moves from. and you basically go into a 3D version of Final Fight when you go around Metro City, and you just get in these battles. Which
Does
is
it
like,
play
it
out
reminds me of
like that
Yakuza, that's what it
Yakuza
does when you
system,
get
or
to
do
this
you
battle.
go into a Street Fighter style 2D plane?
Some of them are some of them, what it loads up like a 2D Street Fighter one, but it's very light. It's not. I don't know, man. It's still, when you go into Yakuza fights and those big battles, it kind of confines it to
Yeah.
that area on a big battle, not just. That's what it kind of does. It reminds me a lot like that. I mean, it's not as deep as that, because somebody would be like, no, it's
Because on
not,
those you can
you're
like
wrong, but
pick up trash cans in the
whatever.
environment and throw them through windows and stuff, right?
It's
Right.
not that deep. That's what I said. It's just the whole running around and getting side missions. It's definitely not as deep as Yakuza, but it has that itch that scratches it, and it's the part
cool.
of the stuff of Yakuza I do enjoy, that I find fun. For whatever reason, I told Richard my secret that I wanted to play some Space Harrier.
Craving some Space
So I
Harrier.
just played Space Harrier adjacent games, and I fired up the one from Yu Suzuki, the new one, Air Twister.
It
Which I think was
was.
on
What's
Apple
it on now? I was
Arcade
going to
last
ask you
year,
because
I believe.
I didn't know that it left Apple Arcade.
It's on
Okay.
PS5, PS4, and Switch now, and maybe Xbox. I bought a physical copy for like $29. I don't think NN was publishing it. I fired it up in there on PS5. It is still a mobile ass game, because it plays like Space Harrier, but it I
Meant
don't
for
know,
short
man.
bursts
It's a
instead of
mobile
take
game,
your
though, 'cause
quarters.
it's like yeah, it's tougher on a console. It's easier on a mobile phone because you have access to it. I mean, unless you, Richard, you really go out there and you're like, man, I want to play some Air Twister on my PlayStation Portal
Yeah.
at Brand's house, because I need to
Everyone
get
does.
my numbers in, and that way we can show Brand the real PSP in his
Demo.
face.
Look, it works in Moe's.
endless demo. This
is the worst demo.
Brand too.
It was the worst demo of all time.
Probably never. It was pretty close. It gives you, I think, 12 stages. You start out with like a basic character. It's the game's not designed for you to beat in one sitting. So like after you get to like maybe level 7, the difficulty jumps up. And so as you beat these different squadrons, so like you have maybe a squad of 5 characters, and if you can disrupt one, that gives you 1 single gold star. And you collect the gold stars, and it goes up into an overworld map, and then a certain amount of stars will unlock additional lock-on targets, ability to slow down time, different guns and stuff like that. It's the mobile aspect of it. I don't know if they charge for that on the Apple Arcade ones or the mobile version, but it's not. They don't charge on the console one. They just expect you to farm. So
I might be misquoting this, but I think everything in Apple Arcade has no unlockables assigned to it, or like DLC add-ons or anything. That's not how that model works.
Money-wise,
yeah.
Everything in there you can unlock with stars. Yeah. I think it's gameplay based. So they give you like a daily, weekly, and like challenges you can do where you can get some more stuff to unlock. So if you play the game 5 times in a week, you get like additional stars and shit like that. So I mean, it did get its hooks in me. I put in like 2 or 3 hours into it, so I've gone through the cycle of it like 10 or 12 times, and as you go through and get these different weapons and different abilities, it does make the game more interesting, and you do get a lot further along. So I guess it works.
And it scratched the Space Harrier itch, or you had to go back into
is Space Harrier on Switch? I need to fire that up. I wonder if it's on those Sega Ages classics they released on Switch.
It might be like Arcade Perfect, or it could be on that Genesis. Was the Genesis version of Space Harrier? It was decent, right? It wasn't Arcade Perfect, but
yeah, I mean, it's playable. What the most enjoyable part at the very beginning of the game for me after an hour or so wasn't fun anymore was the soundtrack was completed by somebody who was Queen adjacent. I was like, I had to listen to it a couple times. Like, is this Queen singing? It's maybe don't misquote me. It's a Dutch band or something like that. That's like kind of like Queen. It sounds like Queen music. Sounds like we got Queen music in the year 2023. Which was pretty good at the beginning, and then after like 2 hours on the same song, I'm like, I don't know about this anymore. But it sounds like Queen. When I heard it, I was like, is this Queen? I had to look it up on Twitter, and I think Gerstmann made the joke about Yu Suzuki. He's like, I think he said, don't quote me on it, but I think he says Air Twisters at one time that he got lost in the Queen.
That's awesome. But I mean that whatever you're inspired by all shows through on the creative process. So you see that influence on stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Brant fired up something.
Yeah, so outside of that, I don't think I've I sat there and messed with some stuff on there. I'm a little bit here and there. I did play a little bit of the finals. I'm hoping you guys will jump on there at some
What
point.
are you doing there? I'm
play
very
some of the
interested.
finals.
What do you do? Astro City.
It's like a. You go against another squad and you. It's almost like CS:GO, because like you have to collect money and tokens from like these arcade machines,
Okay.
and you're trying to steal it from each other. So like if you go down there, you have to hold it down in there, but it's also like a FPS based game. So, that's probably the best way to describe it. I played a couple matches on it. It's pretty interesting. It's actually not that bad. It's made by those. It's made by the Battlefield people. I don't know if it's Battlefield adjacent, but it's different. It's
The
different from what's out
finals.
there as a live service game. Yeah. I think outside of a couple of Warzone matches that me and Renee lost, as well as Apex, we did get a win today.
I watched that one. Yes.
That
That was a great stream.
Yeah. As the guy was stuck on the bridge shooting down at Renee in the water, and snuck up around. That's the second time I snuck up around somebody and gun him down.
Always
Yeah. I was like,
flank
let me
'em,
just get
baby,
around this
flank
guy.
'em.
Yeah. Yeah, because I think at some point me and Renee had to turn off the proximity chat because I think there's too many people have microphones now.
Yeah.
'Cause, like there's some people who will not shut the fuck up. They won't shut the fuck up. I'm like,
Yeah.
I was like, I can't do this anymore because they won't shut up. And then the debating, like, yeah, wait, tell me where you at. Tell me where I said I'm trying to play the game.
And then I
Stop
realized,
talking
like,
to me.
we're talking about,
I'm-
like, get in the water, throw a mine under that ladder right there, and people can hear us.
Yeah. Yeah, they're in the water. You heard.
And
them,
my
they're in the
moment
water.
was like I usually just had the setting turned on where I heard a clip of them when they died, but I won a shootout and I was like, yeah, get fucked. And somebody was like, hey, we shouldn't be talking like that. And I was like, this is not. I'm not coming here for this. This is not what I'm trying to get done. Renee got a new headset.
So-
He won't sound like trash. He says the wind tunnel.
Yeah, he went. Yeah, he went and bought one that works on everything. So I think was it a Turtle Beach?
I was about to
Turtle
say,
Beach
Renee, what'd you
700
get? I wanna
series,
know.
So I think yeah. Yeah, so it says on the box designed for Xbox that it has a USB key though, where you can flip the switch and then it goes to the PS5 and then it connects to the Nintendo Switch console by Bluetooth, and it does PC as well. So he can only carry one headset instead of like 55 million different ones when he's on the road. I think that was his reasoning behind it. Outside of that, I think that's it. I did finish downloading Forza Horizon 5.
Thank you for including that.
122 gigs. Yeah. 122 gigs on the Steam Deck, and then I played like 20 minutes of it when I got home, and it plays pretty well on Steam Deck. So yeah.
That's a big fucking
I appreciate
download. It's a big
your
download,
service,
man.
sir.
Wow.
Hey, Cesar brought my network to its knees. That's why we had to play N64 games. Nobody could get online. I'm just playing.
Yeah. As we missed every football game ever made.
I had no
because we were
clue.
on. But
Yeah.
I forgot all about it. I was looking at the games too, and I was like, I forgot to mention something. But I was like,
What'd you say? Turtle Beach
whatever.
700, Renee says
All right.
in the chat. Renee, you really like them?
It'll be 700 series. He sounds clean, man. When we were playing Warzone on Xbox,
I just type
he
Renee
didn't
into the
sound
search
like
bar. That doesn't help. Oh, let's search on Renee.
Search for Renee. What if it actually pulled up his location?
Oh,
for
shit.
you?
All right, so that's it for me, Brant. I'll let you drive home.
I'm already home, sir.
In more ways than one. Are you staying with us?
Sure.
Okay.
Yes. I've got. I took a couple days off this past week, as well. And I was able to actually beat Super Mario RPG. Richard, play this damn game.
I need to pop
man.
it in.
Play
It's
this
still
damn
sealed.
game.
It's still sealed. My kids keep picking it up.
It is so good. It's like I've said before. It's got so much personality. It's definitely one to play. I think it only took me about all in all 12 hours, maybe just a little over 12. It's a good game. I think your kids would get a good kick out of it too.
I just have to read some stuff to them. Or did they read out the? Do they read out the dialogue?
No, it's all the characters either are very emotive and expressive, or you sometimes you get like little noises and stuff. Like they might or Bowser goes rah 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 rah, but there's no actual voice acting. But yeah, I it's a damn good game.
It's
Um,
not very long, right?
like I said, 12
Yeah.
hours. It's
At
not
12 hours, yeah.
it's not super long, but it is an extremely enjoyable game. I cannot believe I hadn't played that game before.
I'm glad you got to experience
Um,
it though with the remaster this way. It's cool. Remake.
yeah, and everything I've seen that it's such a faithful remake. It's good to see these visuals that are both like a refresher, but also super true to the
Yeah.
original. Like it's the same, but it's different enough, and it just it elevates the whole game a little bit just visually. Um, and I know I've already seen people talking about now they just need to do this to the Mother series,
That'd be
kind of the
awesome.
same artwork.
That would be
Um,
awesome.
it would be very awesome. Um, other than that, I got something in from Limited Run that's very up my alley. I just kind of looked at it, looked at the gameplay, and was like, okay, well, I'll pay for that.
Infernax 2.
Um, no. So the original game was Kojima Joyu Densetsu Scarlet Symphony,
Empire.
which was a came out in 2009. Was some kind of like Toho project, I think is what they refer
It
to it
sounded like the
as, and it
beginning of
was
a Japanese Castlevania. Akomo.
yeah. It basically is. It's they called it like a Tohovania.
Densetsu.
So in 2001 or 2002,
Akamojo Densetsu is
2001.
Castlevania 3. I must have looked for something wrong.
So in 2001 they announced the development for this in Steam and Nintendo Switch. It's a remaster. It is what is this? It's Como Joyu Remelia Scarlet Symphony.
Yeah.
If you just type in Scarlet Symphony for Switch, you'll find it pretty
Okay.
easily.
The second one comes out. This
I'm
month
about to say they
also.
have
Stranger's
a
Requiem.
second one come out.
Remelia.
Mm-hmm.
Remelia is
This
the name of the level I'm playing on that Astanax game. Interesting.
this is a very Castlevania game. It's got like the visuals of Symphony of the Night. A lot of the enemies that you'll face, I mean, their sprites look like they're straight out of Symphony of the Night, but it is more classic Castlevania, to where you have stages you go through and then fight a boss, and
Okay.
then the boss drops an orb.
More
Um,
Rondo than Symphony of the Night.
Yeah,
Oh, this looks great. This is a
Um,
brand game.
yeah, yeah. It is the main character. I forget what these things are called. She's basically like a shrine maiden, and she has one of those little like staffs that has the little paper ribbons on it. But I mean, when you attack, it's basically just like a whip attack, like
Yeah.
classic Castlevania whip attack. She also has like a you don't pick up different power ups. She just has one. Um, she throws those like little paper tags, those ofuda. She throws those out as her kind of secondary or magic attack, and then you have allies, and you can summon your allies. Um, and
I just wish listed
other
just for you,
than
Brant. Wish listed on Steam.
So this also has different difficulties in it. You can up the amount of lives, because I know it starts you off at normal with 3 lives. If you run out of lives, you have to go back to the beginning of the stage. But I think you can go up as far to 20 lives.
And they're just restarting the stage. You don't have to
And
you're not having to go all the way back to the beginning, right? I've been playing old school games, man. I'm trying to figure out what you mean by
no.
yeah.
Yeah, it's
Game over,
if,
yeah.
If you, I think, I don't know. I think if you run out of lives, it sets you back to the stage. Yeah. If you die, it basically just sets you back at whatever part of the stage you were at. Um, I started out with the 3 lives on normal. I quickly switched down to easy and like just upped it to, I think it was 10 lives just to be on the safe side, because you can knock it all the way up to 20. I was like, that's a little excessive.
Yeah.
But I knocked it up to 10 and just went to easy just to kind of get a feel for it, and I played through the whole game in one sitting. I mean, it's not very
Damn.
long. I want to say it was only like eight stages maybe to run through. So it's a very quick game. I saw a lot of people like crapping on it on the Steam reviews. I thought it was pretty decent, but I love these games. The boss fights are kind of a mixture of, I would say almost like bullet hell-esque, where they shoot out a bunch of stuff. Some of the classic Castlevania bosses did that. Like, I think Death a lot of times would have shit all over the screen and he's throwing it at you.
The clip I just watched had like the bones, like the teeth cracking Castlevania sound, like the boss was coming at the character with that.
Yeah. Oh, let me get this real quick, because this is something I wanted to pull up.
Brant remembered something. He reached for Days Gone.
No Days Gone.
Not in this show. Damn it.
So, the gameplay is really solid. I believe there's, with this Switch version on the back, it says that there's, compared to the original version, this has full bonus elements included, in-game challenges, BGM collection, and a gallery.
What is this? Is this the same game? The Scarlet Symphony?
Yes, this is. The soundtrack for this game is actually really good as well. There's even a couple of music tracks I just want to play. A couple of...
That was on the Steam page I looked at. Who's the composer? Because you could buy the soundtrack on Steam, too.
I was about to say, I'd have to look up the composer. There's a couple of these I wanted to play just a couple seconds of, because they were very cheeky with how they did.
Gonna get us the DCMA, Brant. Get it for us.
I accidentally hit the wrong thing. Return.
Would you play this on again?
I played it on the Switch.
And it's available on Switch, Steam Deck, or Steam.
I don't know if it's on anything else, to be honest.
Xbox left out in the cold again. That cold Xbox.
So, this one is called Scarlet Tears.
Da, 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 da.
It sounds very similar to...
Imagine that.
But it's good. This shit's good, man.
It's definitely more than just an homage.
It's very, very similar. So there was Scarlet Tears. I mean, not every single song is like that, but there was Scarlet Tears, and then there was one other song that, like, it started playing. I'm like, oh, damn, yeah, I see the inspiration.
It's more than just an inspiration there, Brant. That's pretty spot on. Is there one called Vampire Murderer also? Yes, there it is. That's straight out of Rondo of Blood. It's good, man. This one's on my radar now. It's pretty solid.
Yeah, it's got really good music. It's a good game, especially even if you're not into the whole anime aesthetic, because it is a bunch of anime girls.
The art style's great though.
The art style is actually really good, and the gameplay is super, super solid. Highly recommend if you
Scarlet Symphony. It has a full name, but definitely look up Scarlet Symphony.
And like Cesar said, they have a sequel coming out very, very soon.
It's already on Japan.
Is it going to be Scarlet
And
Symphony
then
2?
yes,
Yeah.
and then last but certainly not least, I have picked up a piece of video game history
Oh.
from the bowels of the 90s. I've pulled forth
Whose bowels? Sir,
the Atari Jaguar.
sir, that's dental equipment. Do the math.
With
Brant's over there doing the math.
With the number pad controller in all its glory. With this quote-unquote 64-bit system that was supposed to compete with things like the 3DO and the Super Nintendo, and then when the actual hardware of a few years later of Sony's PlayStation and then Nintendo's N64 or Ultra 64 as it was being called, and then the Sega Saturn came and totally just blew this thing out of the water.
The Jaguar has some compelling stuff to it, but so they did the overlays like the old Intellivision games. You had a shitty controller with a number pad, and you would get an overlay with each game, and you would put the corresponding overlay on the controller, and it just sucked. It sucked so bad. But there's a couple gems, and I think you have all the gems that came with your purchase.
So, not including the gems, I believe you said that this came standard with most of the Jaguar.
That's not a gem. It's a pile of shit.
That were sold is
that's their
Cybermorph,
pack-in. That's how they're representing their brand new system.
It's a Star Fox-esque game, but it looks horrible. It doesn't play well. There is this green digital woman face that is next to you the whole time, and constantly, if you get hit by anything, she robotically says, "Where did you learn how to drive?" or "Ouch."
Horrible clips, horrible voice samples.
If you do something good, good job. You know,
horrible.
Definitely not a good candidate for showcasing.
Not a system seller by any means.
Not a good packing game. Then I did play around with that a little bit, and then I threw in this one, Tempest 2000,
which is going to be on last week's mentioned Minterfest.
An actually pretty good game.
That's a Jaguar highlight for sure.
Good music.
The Jaguar.
Good gameplay. The other three I have not gotten to play yet. I need to make sure everything's good. This looks like kind of a... I don't know, how would you... I guess it's supposed to be kind of like a mech...
Iron Soldier? Yeah.
Shootery.
That's
Iron
a good
Soldier. It looks like
it's a good 3D showcase. The polygons and movement and stuff are
mech,
good.
Yeah, mech meets maybe like Ace Combat and stuff is what I'm kind of getting from the back.
Iron Soldier's solid.
And then there's two more here. We have, I remember this was supposed to be a big one on the system, and I've heard a little bit about this. Alien versus Predator.
It just hit me now that we have 2 Jaguars and 2 AVPs. Look and see if that's a link cable game. Real quick. Look on the back. See if it says link cable compatible. We might be able to do some multiplayer on that.
I see nothing.
Okay.
I see nothing of the sort on the back.
Curious. That's a good game. That's a good game. I don't know that it's aged exceptionally well, but that's a solid Jaguar title. I think it's essential for the Jaguar collection. And someone just recently made like a randomizer. Last but not least.
Let's see. I'm looking on this one. I guess it's not a Link game either, but it would make sense. I recently watched a whole video on this being a halfway stinky, halfway decent fighting game. Ultra Vortec.
I don't remember that one.
It's got this big old demon dude on the On the back
At least
here,
with the 3DO, you had Naughty Dog
1 or 2
putting
player.
some stuff out.
Beyond Games.
What's that one called? Something Vortec?
Ultra Vortec.
It's a fighting game developed by
It's
Beyond
one of
Games and
those-
published by Atari for the Atari Jaguar.
Yeah.
It was the second fighting game released for the Jaguar after Kasumi Ninja and unsuccessfully sought to capitalize on the trend of violent fighting games started by
Yeah.
Mortal Kombat.
I think it is seen as better than Kasumi Ninja, but still not a super
These
great fighting
screenshots
game.
look like ass.
Yeah.
Beyond Games was an American video game company. First release was for the Atari Lynx. Man, they were just an Atari house. Whew. All right, you got a stinker there, Brant. You got some decent games and you got a stinker. In games acquired.
Cybermorph.
Yeah, Cybermore sucks.
Oh,
Something else.
we should all, if we haven't, go over our quick year-end reviews really quick. So my Nintendo stuff, the first thing that I played this year was the N64.
Do you want to wait until we have time to compile all
online?
that? I'm not opposed to doing that. Maybe we do that on the year-end show. What you're talking about is the stuff everybody they sent out to us, right? Like, here's how much PlayStation
Yeah,
you
I was
played.
gonna
Here's
say,
all the
yeah,
Xbox games you
They
played.
got the wrap-up stuff.
Yeah, let's do that on another show when we do our Game of the Year stuff, maybe.
Oh, you
yeah,
wanna save
I think
it?
so. I think that'd be best because I don't have access to it right now.
All right.
I don't know if Cesar does either. Cesar probably has access to everything.
Mine wasn't accurate. Mine wasn't.
Mine
accurate
doesn't seem
anyway,
to be
so.
either. It's still fun to talk about.
I was gonna say some of this seems a little off, but hell, I'll
It says the
take
only
it.
game, only game I played this year was 14 hours of Pokemon. It's not accurate.
What?
Yeah.
Oh man.
So it's not even fun to talk about. That's literally when I looked it up. It says I only played my Switch in September.
Oh,
and it was
shit.
14 hours
So,
of Pokemon.
yeah,
That was it.
Let me go over
Okay,
mine
that's
real
fine.
quick, and since his is, and you can talk about yours later. Yeah, it says the first game that I played was the Nintendo Switch Online, N64 stuff. 21 games in total, 167 hours on the Nintendo Switch. 88 of those hours were played in Legend of Zelda: Tears of the Kingdom. The next one was 30 hours in Zelda Skyward Sword HD, and then 17 hours in Metroid Prime Remastered. My PlayStation stuff was, it says 21 games. My highest games are, of course, Call of Duty with y'all. Second is Overwatch 2. Final Fantasy 16, Spider-Man 2, and Resident Evil 4
Some heavy
Remake.
hitters in there.
It says I have 345 hours played this
For
year
PlayStation.
on my PlayStation 5, yes.
I think mine was 70 somehow, but my Xbox one was way higher for Call of Duty. I think Call of Duty pushed everybody's clock up pretty good. Cesar, you spread yours
Yeah,
amongst PS5 and PC over throughout the year, though.
I'm about to say, I think
I think my Call of Duty was on twice on my PlayStation list for.
Maybe the two different SKUs we had to download.
possibly.
Mm,
It says 125 hours in Call of Duty.
what are we doing this on? This is ridiculous.
I'll do mine later. Just keep things
PlayStation
short and
wrap
sweet
up.
tonight.
No, because at this point, how many did you have, Brent?
How many what? Hours?
Hours? Yeah.
345?
No, Call of Duty.
Oh, it says 125.
Because I don't think I played that much this year, believe it or not. Not compared to like other previous years. Because I think
The year kind of got distilled down to like 5 or 6 big releases, right? And then we all played. I know if I had free time week after week, I was playing Warzone with you guys.
Yep. That's pretty much how it was.
Cesar, let's do ours on the
Yeah,
next
it
show
just
where we
says-
can pull those links up and let the little animations load and all that stuff.
Yeah, I had just taken screenshots this
that's
past week,
smart.
so
No, I'm just curious because I think mine was some kind of ridiculous amount of. It was something stupid. That's what I was looking at. Yeah, Call of Duty. All right, my number one game is Call of Duty. Number two is Final Fantasy, and then number three is Call of Duty again.
That's
One-
good.
And then I think it highlights both of the Call of Duty games. I think one of them I played 164 hours, and the other one I played 45 hours.
This checks out.
So I mean,
Just add them together.
Not to mention, I think the whatever came out of my stupid Xbox One, which was oddly similar. Which I think which I said which was stupid because it was solitary. Was my
That's
my
right.
number one gameplay because that was just my PC game that
System
I fired up.
setting.
Well, that and I gave the skewed I gave the login to my mom. 'Cause, she just logs in and plays it for me. She's like, unlock stuff for you. She's like, yeah, just keep doing it. Keep giving me free Game Pass. I'm paid for Game Pass in a year, so I'm just like, yeah, just keep giving me points. I was like, Game Pass for free. Let's go.
So sorry, you and I were talking about the Steam sale, the winter
Yeah.
sale. It's Thursday, December 21st through Thursday, January 4th. And apparently Baldur's Gate's getting
It's always the end of the
there's
year.
a sale on there. How do we do mic chat if we get the Steam Deck version? How do we do mic chat on Baldur's Gate? We just fire it up in the background on the Steam Deck?
No,
Okay.
it's built in there. It's
Makes
built in there.
sense. All right, you guys got anything else you want to add? 10 o'clock here.
no, I just do want to add the fact that I looked up stuff on like the best Atari Jaguar games,
Short
and
list.
Cybermorph is down on the list, and I clicked on it, and somebody Infinity Retro put Cybermorph was a packing game included in the Atari Jaguar. It's not a great game by any means, but it can be mildly entertaining in short
No, it sucks
bursts.
ass.
That's the best thing I've ever heard anybody say about that game.
No, you heard him right there, Richard.
They're
He
wrong.
disagrees with you.
It's pretty much Atari's answer to Fox McCloud.
It's not, though. God, it sucks. Not even close. Oh, it's a bad game.
Oh, it's a horrible game.
All right, we done with our Jaguar update? Shitty Jaguar
we
Games 101.
Shitty Jack.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us this week for Shitty Jaguar Games 101. We hope you'll join us next week for Shitty Jaguar
say-
Games 102.
I was like, damn, Brent.
I can get
you hit the
worms?
Jack TV show. Jack TV show's
Worms
good.
Can
is
get
on the
worms
Jaguar?
my Atari? Yeah.
I think that one's new to me. I didn't know there was a Worms. I know you love some Worms.
But yeah, that's it.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us this week, and we will catch you next week. Bye.
See ya.